And hello again, and welcome to the Criterion Connection. I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And as you noticed, we did the Blue Velvet this week. We're also doing we're doing The Art Life
of David Lynch.
Of David Lynch, which is not directed by David Lynch. It's directed by Olivia Neergaard-Holm, Rick Barnes, and John Nguyen. And now
I wonder if they just did like different parts.
Probably.
Like you have one that did the interview segments with Lynch, and then like one that went and did the montages of his art.
Yeah.
You know?
And starring David Lynch.
Yeah, David Lynch.
2017. So it's not a David Lynch film, but it's about David Lynch. It's pretty much a David Lynch film.
No.
It's about David Lynch and basically his childhood growing into the production of Eraserhead.
I think another great title would be David Lynch in his own words.
Yes. And
it's about, his early life and what led him into doing films. Because they didn't really talk about that. I think they ended around the time he did Eraserhead.
Yeah.
At the Film Institute out in L.A. I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And there's not much to talk about this movie. It's just kind of like interspersed between David Lynch now with his young wife and his daughter. Mm-hmm. Which is adorable.
You don't see much about it.
Which is adorable when they're doing art together.
Yeah, you don't see his current wife.
Yeah.
But you do see his young daughter, who he ends up doing some art with.
Yeah. And
sometimes, is so engrossed in his own art, I'm like, Dave, that's big and rusty. I don't know why you're not paying attention. But, But I really, because I always love listening to David Lynch talk and do interviews and stuff. And it was really nice to get a long, extended version of that, of him talking about his life and, where he comes from. And it's much less of a process thing. It's more of, these are the things that have happened to me, and that's what led me to this place.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool.
And then, they talk about how, he got into, a lot of stop-motion kind of animation kind of thing. We see with, the alphabet.
Oh, yeah.
We get into that. And then it leads
when he was with his first wife.
Yeah. Then it leads into stuff like, Eraserhead, which is Jack Nance. The guy's name is Jack Nance. I know we blanked on it on Blue Velvet. It's Jack Nance. I remember Angelo Badalamenti, and I could say that, but I can't remember Jack Nance, as Scott in the background has told us. Made fun of me.
We apologize.
Yeah.
But
thank you, Scott, for the corrections department.
But I really enjoyed this film. And I love watching him work too.
Yeah. It's a very mellow watch. Just you put it in the background. Mm-hmm. If you watch
There's a lot of scenes of him just smoking and thinking.
There's a lot of smoking.
Yeah.
I wonder how
I worry about the guy.
Yeah, he's 100. He's not 100. He's late 70s.
Yeah, he's in his 70s.
And he's still smoking up chimney, and his hair's still coiffed.
Yeah, it's a lot different than it used to be.
Yeah.
But it's the way we know it.
Yeah.
But I just really enjoyed it, and seeing kind of, how, really his first love is painting and kind of visual, crafting, paintings and sculptures and multimedia stuff, and that's really his big love. It's just, I was waiting, I'm like, oh, he's going to get to film and he's going to say it's like a moving painting, and that's exactly what he says, and I'm like, perfect.
Yeah. And it's The Art Life, so they really focus. I feel some people thought this was going to be about his filmography.
No, it's just about his life.
It's about his life. There's a lot of art talk. He does talk about Eraserhead probably the last third of the movie. Well, but the first 2/3 are very his upbringing and his passion for painting and art and stuff like that.
And really a lot of it has to do with his family life and his friends and understanding who some of the big influences were on him and how a lot of these things happen to. No, it talks about how there was an artist that was a father of a friend of his, took him under his wing.
Yeah.
And really started steering him in the right directions and trying to get him to go to school and, his failed attempts at other schools and other opportunities that fizzled out. And then the fact that, fatherhood was thrust upon him and then painting unfortunately had to take like a back seat, even though he didn't want it to.
And it gives you more.
And then he ends up with the film grant, which pushes him into filmmaking.
It's kind of funny, like, you know, the fatherhood really put pressure on him, and then the first movie he does is Eraserhead, which is really about pressure of, like, a young couple with a kid. And
it's a very personal story when you think about it.
Yeah. It gives you a lot of insight, especially when you see him making it. It's like, this probably was in his mind the entire time. Like,
yep. And then where that ends up leading him in his career, and you can understand why, like, he doesn't direct really anymore.
Yeah.
Because he loves painting, and that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Paints all fucking time, it looks like.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, I wonder if, like, his stuff gets shown around.
I'm sure.
Like if there's an exhibit that's coming around anytime soon, because he's constantly making stuff.
You know what, David Lynch is the kind of person probably, I don't want the people to see it, so he burns it every time he finishes it.
I don't think so.
Burn it down.
But I thought it was interesting he uses plywood as his canvas.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Makes you want to draw and paint and shit like that.
Yeah, I've been in one of those moods.
Yeah.
And this certainly stoked those fires a little bit more.
Yeah. So that's our thoughts on the art life. Well, by the way, would you buy, rent, or skip?
I would. I don't know if this is a buy. It's certainly interesting, and I wonder what the supplements are. I think the supplements would put it over the top.
Just more smoking.
Yeah. If the supplements are, like, you know, high grade, like if I saw what the supplements were for the Criterion edition, I'd judge whether or not it's at least a rent.
Yeah.
It's great to watch once.
Stream, yeah.
And if you're anything interested in David Lynch, it's a great documentary to watch. And him just talking about his life in his own words. And, you know, if you're interested in art, it's great to watch that for that reason, too, because he really is one of the more interesting artists of recent years, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And, you know, if the supplements are up to par, I think it would push it up into a buy just for that.
I'll say the same. It's hard with documentaries to say buy because it's one of those things like...
That's why they always put them in special interest.
You got to be interested in the character. You have to be interested in the character, the actor. You have to be interested in any sort of documentary. If you want to have a documentary about, like, let's say, there's another Criterion movie, Bowling for Columbine. If you're not interested in any, like, true crime or anything like that, you won't buy it, but you'll probably rent it, right? Like, I'll never buy Super Size Me because I don't want to hate my life every day, but I'll watch it. You know, this is similar. It's a good... I think we said the same thing for all mankind. Where it's you got to be interested in it. If you're interested in directing, film, art, painting, whatever. If you're interested,
I think it's a really great one for people who really haven't set on a passion yet either. Like, it's just like, you've got time.
It's good for art students in high school or college.
Yeah, because
it's a good like inspirational thing.
You know, it's one of those things, like, you don't have to worry about breaking in immediately and being successful right away. Like, it just takes time a lot of times.
Yeah.
And he talks about how it took time to figure out how he wanted to, you know, put out his messages and make his art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. It's great for that.
I'd say rent, but I personally would buy it.
We're both big David Lynch fans anyway.
Obviously, yeah. We've done all of them. But we have yet to do all the Wes Anderson movies.
I wonder why.
So that's our thoughts on the art life, David Lynch. Let us know in the comment section below. Like I said in the Blue Velvet video, we are doing a poll. We're gathering things for a poll.
For our 100th episode!
Which is June 19th. It's coming up. It's going to be craze.
Sure.
I just made up my own. Is it? I was going to say cray.
Z.
And then I was going to say Z. I was going to say crazy, and I definitely messed up on that one. Anyway, please submit stuff. And there's comments.
This is the stuff you get for the 100th episode.
100th episode, I'll jumble more words.
I wonder if there's like a gag reel.
We'll put it in the supplements for the eventual Blu-ray release of the Criterion Connection.
Hey.
Well,
something to look forward to.
That'd be just like amazing. Then we just review our own Criterion release.
Yeah, but it would have to be released on Criterion Collection for us to review it.
I know, but what happens if that happens and then we actually do it?
Yeah, and then we say skip.
Yeah, skip. Don't buy it. Don't. So yeah, that's our thoughts. Please comment on suggestions for 100th episode or suggestions in general. now that the Criterion channel is happening, there's more chance we can do these now.
There's more opportunities to do the weird stuff that we didn't know about.
Yes. So until next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm still Joe.
And we will see you later.